It's with great pleasure that I introduce 5-time best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, investor, and influencer, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you so much for having me at this Side Evolution Forum event. I'm super fired up to be here, and to me, it's just really exciting to talk to a group of real estate professionals, individuals, brokers, people within the world of real estate who are just thinking about things differently, attacking things differently, and just seeing the big opportunities that are out there today. So I really, really, really appreciate the look, and I'm excited to speak to you today. So let's get into the State of the Union. And the State of the Union is very clear. We are all very much affected, understanding of this enormous pandemic that we've all lived through. It has created huge opportunities in a million different ways. We've also seen the acceleration of this device in our society. We've seen the emergence of platforms like TikTok, the way that LinkedIn has evolved, YouTube and podcasts, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter and Pinterest, all evolving and entrenching in our society as the pipes, the infrastructure for communication in our world. Today, I want to talk to you about the fact that if you are not a practitioner and an operator on these platforms, you're just starting the things in motion that will put you either A, out of business, or B, in a position where you do not maximize your opportunity to the highest level. And then I want to kind of skip around and play a little bit with the State of the Union of the platforms and of the way that maybe some of you would want to attack it, while recognizing context over everything. If you're a lawyer or a small business owner or a real estate agent, or if you are in Madrid or in Las Vegas or in Warsaw or in the Upper East Side of New York, the context of your environment, your profession, your regionality, your income level of target audience are all a context point to how you have to go at it. But before you go at it and create your strategy on media and creative as an organization or as an individual, first you have to recognize what's actually happening. And what's happening is we're living through the greatest technology revolution in human and consumer history. The internet, as we know it, is now evolving into a 25-year-old infrastructure. And what I mean by that is not the internet from the 60s when the nerds and the governments figured it out, but the internet that we all know where consumers are interacting with it. The current state of the internet is social media. And what I mean by that is the platforms that dominate the content creation by humans and the content consumption by humans are social networks. Now, whether that's TikTok or Snapchat, Facebook or Twitter, Instagram or Pinterest, LinkedIn or YouTube, you've got to figure out as a business or as a person, which one are you going to be active on? And I promise you, not being active on at least one of them, hopefully 8 of them if you have the financial capabilities, the ambition, or the creative ideas or information in your mind, it is a necessity. This keynote has to be the final straw in any of you debating whether you should be active on it. And more importantly, the group that I'm most worried about, which is the group that is active on it, but is not active anywhere close to the level that I wish they were, the level that I wish they should be, the level that every single organization, institution, and individual should be. I put out 100 pieces of creative a day, 100 across these platforms. Now I have a team of 15 individuals that help me do that as Gary V. We at VaynerMedia are putting out 30, 40 pieces of creative per account per day across these platforms, but they're paying millions of dollars to have a team in place to be able to do that. We and I, not really my brand, but we are amplifying for our clients an enormous amount of that content by buying ads in underplaced places like Instagram stories, where you can swipe up and go to a page, TikTok, LinkedIn, where you can target businesses, and the holy grail of this, Facebook at scale. Pre-roll YouTube based on what you search on Google search terms, and the emergence of my next favorite frontier, OTT advertising, over the top, Netflix, Roku, Amazon Prime, these Amazon Fire Stick, these platforms where you're able to interject your commercials into actual television and film in the way that you see ads play out on YouTube. This is an incredible frontier, an incredible opportunity. This is even without talking about texting as a platform with apps like Community. Google it if you don't know it yet. Or podcast advertising where you have the hosts read your copy like radio in the 60s as an emerging incredible way to advertise. We are living through the greatest revolution of new ways to advertise, new ways to market, new ways to build your personal brand, to build out your team. New ways, new ways, new ways. The time to debate and be stuck in your ways around direct mail or going to conferences or networking in a different way, cold calling, whatever it may be, all fine. Don't have to take them to zero, but there is an incredible opportunity to be a contemporary marketer in a 2021 world. And this keynote is about that. Before we go into the platforms, recognize that some of the biggest companies and some of the biggest personalities in every industry have continuously over the last 100 years plus gone out of business. And it's because they do not adapt. They do not adapt because they no longer are hungry or ambitious and they just chill out and check out. They do not adapt because they become emotional and they do not like change and they like the way they got here and don't want to learn the new craft. That group of people is what I'm most concerned about. All while this product emerges at scale. The opportunities are remarkable. I've never seen ads, the cost of media, be so low to have such a high impact. I've never seen people go on something like TikTok or LinkedIn and post one time and create virality that leads to actual business. I've never seen a world where businesses or people can become media companies themselves, compete with the biggest companies in the world, out of a complete religious, structured, strategic plan on how to put out content. How do you put out content? Step one, self-awareness. Do you know how you like to communicate? Are you a great writer? Can you just write? Are you a great writer? If so, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, these are places that you can do some incredible damage. Are you a great designer? Photos, where you can write some copy, would be an incredible way to be, or going into your Adobe or other platforms and making pictures, images, things that look like print ads. Is that what you're about? Because that is an incredible place to win on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. Or do you have the incredible gift of gab and unbelievable camera presence and are cozy in this environment because it's the easiest and you feel at home on the stage, virtual or on the public stage? Well, then all of a sudden, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube and LinkedIn and Pinterest and TikTok all become incredible places. Are you incredible with your voice that you can take your phone and do the memo and talk, or do a podcast by interviewing somebody? Maybe you are good at interviewing on voice, but not as much on camera because it makes you shy. All of a sudden, podcasts and Twitter and other places become your domain. Step one, self-awareness. Do you know how you or your company, because you have a head of marketing or you're the head of marketing, know or want to communicate? Step two, depth of understanding the platforms. Once you understand how you want to communicate, what you need to do is become an unbelievable executor on the platforms. For the rest of this keynote, I will give you the current state of the union of the platforms and the opportunities as I see it to give you the best position and opportunity to succeed. I will even use my phone, actually. Now that I do these kind of things, I can deal with a prop. As you'll see very quickly, on my phone, my social media apps tend to be the most important thing. So let's just go very much in order. Twitter. Twitter has a very incredible thing. There's a search bar right here on Twitter where you can search any word. Let's just do open house, for example, if you were in that industry, right? And I can just search open house, and I could scroll, and I can just see nothing but conversations about people having an open house. And I can hit reply and just reply to that person. And within seconds, that person now knows who I am because people read their replies. Twitter is the cocktail party of the internet. Twitter is the place where if you do not feel comfortable making original thoughts, you can search the words. I'll search another one for you. This is how I built my career. I searched the word wine every single day from 2007 to 2011, and you just search people talking about wine, you know? And so there you go, wine, 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 and I'm able to just jump in. I can't wait until my wine comes. I reply, which wine are you having? There you go. Which wine are you having? Reply. Now 888 in Miami, Florida is aware of Gary V, or of you as a real estate agent, or as you as a baker, or as you as a law firm. Unbelievable, the cocktail party of the internet, places where you can do quick thoughts, places where you can jump into other people's conversation, places where you can pontificate of current events around your industry. Very fluid, very natural if you're a cocktail party savant, very much an important platform today. Next, let's go to Instagram. Instagram is the spot, right? Instagram is the spot where you are putting out your content. What you see here is I put out content, clips of content all day long. To me, if you are building a consumer business, every one of you have to be on Instagram. It's got Reels, which is now a new competitor to TikTok. Let me see if I can get this lighting right. Reels right there. Then my finger just went over. It's got stories, it's got posts, pictures or videos. This is where you put out your kind of diary. Think of it as your front page of your newspaper and you're the editor-in-chief. This is where you're putting out the content you want every single day. The problem is most people put out selfish content, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, without trying to put out content for the individual. But this is absolutely a platform where you can build a huge brand, a huge audience. It is hard. At this point, it is mature. It is not 2012 or 13 or 14 anymore. It's not so easy to build an audience. You have to be great in your videos or pictures, but it is still absolutely possible. It is absolutely the platform where everyone's attention is from 18 to 55 across the board and the globe, outside of mainland China and Russia, but even in Russia it is. And I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend you get serious about it. Speaking of serious, is its older, more serious brother or sister, depending on how you want to call it, and that is the Facebook ecosystem, which in a lot of ways, you know, and this is my Facebook land, in a lot of ways, this is an incredible hub where, for me, this is a platform that if you're targeting 45 to 90-year-olds, it becomes exactly the same thing as Instagram. It does not sit with the 15 to 35-year-olds set the same way, but almost all the similar functions. Facebook groups is an incredible opportunity. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Facebook groups. You start a group within the organization or the interests or the industry or the business you're in. You can be the moderator. It's almost like a forum from the early internet days. It's an incredible place. So Facebook groups you should Google into. I won't spend too much time on it. But again, incredible targeting. You can target 22 to 27-year-olds that live in a town next to you. You can make a video or picture that explains what you're good at or what you love or what value you're bringing. It's an unbelievable platform, and it is absolutely a place where everybody should get serious and understand Facebook is not dead. It is actually unbelievably strong. It's just that, are you targeting that demo of 45 to 90-year-olds? It is incredibly effective from 60 to 90 if you're targeting that demo. Pictures and videos and written words crush on the platform. I couldn't be more of an advocate for you to become a Facebook practitioner. Let's keep it moving. LinkedIn has become an incredibly unbelievable place to produce content, right? So my LinkedIn, see if I can get this right. So there we go. Where it's really interesting is articles and posts. Incredible amount of ability to do articles and posts. Again, very similar to Facebook in a lot of ways. However, here, you know, you're going to have more of a business audience. For a lot of you, this is where you can target ads against somebody whose title is a CFO. All of a sudden, you can imagine the content that you'll be putting out. LinkedIn, though, is very special right now because organically, not spending money on ads, you can reach a lot of people. That will change like it did on Facebook and Instagram, but it's very real right now. And if I could push you, including if you sell real estate or trinkets or strawberries, whatever it may be, if you've got a side hustle, it's unbelievable the opportunities on LinkedIn, not just for B2B stuff, but B2C stuff. Open houses, check. Trying to get people to understand what business, your product and service you're selling, check. Trying to get to financiers to sell your business or raise capital, check. An incredible B2B environment that takes the rules of Facebook from 5 years ago. Everybody should get very, very, very serious about this. The opportunity is now. We are living in the world of the greatest opportunity of personal brand and business building. Every one of you can build brand on these platforms. Every one of you. You just have to figure out how you communicate, or are you going to put out a job description to the world where you hire somebody in who does this. This is not TV down where you put out one thing and you go to sleep. This is a constant day-to-day game of ideas and content. Ideas and content. TikTok, very controversial. Obviously has gone through so many things, but let's just talk it globally because obviously in certain countries and different things it has issues, but it is owning 14 to 35 around the world. It is an incredible opportunity for you to gain audience and relevance. It's very easy, light, creative. But for most of you, the reason you should make TikToks is you'll learn how to make content in a free-flowing platform like that, which will lead to the insights that you may need on other platforms to become a creator in that kind of environment. To me, TikTok is an incredible way to stay close to the youth, understand trends, but most of all, be prepared for it to get older, because all of these platforms do. It starts off at this age, but we've seen incredible growth of 40 to 50 to 60 all day long. YouTube. I couldn't recommend more of you to start putting out content in longer form video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a daily show. It is an incredible opportunity for you to do a weekly show. Please Google Gary V content model. One more time, please Google Gary V, E-E, the way I spell it, content model. Post that into Google, search it. You'll see a 84-page slide deck that's free for you that you'll learn from. But a YouTube show could be a major play where you answer Q&A questions, whether you put out a vlog type where you're documenting your day, whether it's where you post all your podcasts that you film but you're doing as an audio. It's where you do interviews with people. It's where people interview you. Having an own channel on YouTube is a rite of passage as a content creator and couldn't be something that I couldn't recommend. I would recommend it with all my might, and I highly, highly recommend you get serious about it. Pinterest is incredible. I have it here. Pinterest is incredible. An incredible opportunity for you to put out boards, visuals. I could see a ton of you doing well there. Pictures of what you're selling, how you're selling, video, regular. The quicker you understand these places and understand how to make, the more likely you will succeed. I'm taking a step back here now because I'm thinking through the first 20 minutes. You're sitting here and listening to me. I can go example of the businesses and organizations, whether it's Gymshark in the app athletic realm, whether it's Wish, the shopping app, 8 billion in revenue, according to some, whether it's small, tiny direct-to-consumer brands, personalities, organizations, all these movements, politics, all these movements, all these trends, all happening in here. All happening in here. And the sooner you really wrap your head around that, the more likely you can win. The biggest game that we have to talk about in the next 5 minutes is fear. So many of you fear. What will people think? Does this make me look good? Do I look silly? Do I look unattractive? The number one thing I've learned in this last decade of why you will listen to this, why everything I've just said you've already known, why this is such an incredible time to be alive, to take advantage of this, why spending $1, you can spend $100 on Facebook ads, it will crush every direct mail thing you'll do, and you can't do $100 spend on direct mail that's meaningful. Starting a podcast. All these things that are so on the top of your mind, all of them not being executed because you're scared, because you're worried about other people's opinions in the comments section, because you're worried what your mom and dad will think, because you're worried what your spouse will think, because you're worried that it's going to be a waste of time and I could be selling instead. My friends, what I'm talking to you about, what I've just explained to you, is the platforms and the executions of a modern branding exercise. Brand always outsells sales. You can call 50 people, but when you have the biggest brand, they come to you. I can try to go sell door to door a pair of sneakers, and I'm a great salesman. I'll sell a bunch, but Nike's going to outsell me every day of the week. What I want for you and your organization is to build a brand. Brand is what wins at the end of the day. Brand is always the game. Whether it's a personal brand, just like real estate agents would put their face on a bench or a billboard, they were building brand. I'm building brand. But the way you and your organizations have to build, again, whether in London or Bristol, whether in Barcelona or Budapest, whether in Santa Clara, Houston, or New York, you have to make it contextual to what you do. You have to realize all of it is playing through this environment. And you have to understand that this September, October, November, December, 2021, 22, this time, this opportunity from January to December, from 21 to 22, from 2023 to 2024, this will continue to be more important, not less. This will continue to be the place it goes. This will continue to be the most important place to market, to communicate, to remarket, that this is a game of math and art. You have to bring both of those skills together. You have to understand this is where all of our customers, whether you believe it or not, this is where all of our customers live and pay attention. And unless you're articulating and unless you're winning the social media content and media amplification warfare, unless you're winning that game, you're losing, period. And if your product stinks, if you're not good at your job, this will just speed up them finding out. But if you're great at your job and you're not doing this, you are leaving real money on the table, real opportunity on the table. And the biggest part, real happiness on the table. So get over yourself, stop fearing, start putting yourself out there, or your organization out there, or your partner out there, or somebody else. But get out there and win pictures, videos, written words, and audio on the 15 platforms, 12 platforms, 10 platforms, 8 platforms that matter, and they will change. Somebody's inventing something tomorrow that's gonna matter to me. Move fast, move smart, put out content, read all the content, comments, adjust based on them, they are the consumer. Put out valuable content 10, 15 times in a row, then on the 16th post, maybe ask for something. Put out your phone number on it once you build a community and watch them call. Give and then ask. Give and then ask. The reason I have the honor of giving this keynote is I give the most on the internet for free, which has built the biggest brands out there on a personal level, put me in that conversation. And I've been historically correct of where the attention of the end consumer goes. I figured out how to do it in written form, audio, and video, and in picture form, and I've put that out on every single platform. My dad's wine business did that. The companies I consult do that. Resi, the restaurant app, K-Swiss, the sneaker, Empathy, the wine brand, and all the companies I consult in Singapore and in London and in New York and in LA. There's a very, very, very simple game. Most of you are just not willing to commit the money, time, or energy, or 20 hours of education to figure it out. I implore you today to figure it out. Today, not tomorrow, today. Because in a post-COVID pandemic world, your ability to communicate in a contemporary way will be the straw that either takes you to the moon or breaks the camel's back and puts you backwards. Please, please learn this now. Thank you very much.